Hey everybody, Paul's Path here, coming at you, trying to figure out how we're going to stay sober today. I want to thank everybody for all their texting and the cup of coffees that they bought, and the GoFundMe is now changing from buying a home to renting homes, okay, because it's much faster to rent homes and help more people, but I got to get in there and edit it. Anyway, yesterday we talked about step 4 and doing an inventory, and my big step was step 5. After I did my inventory, a lot of people were still to blame, okay, and I didn't think I had a part in any of it, I didn't know about self-pity and stuff like that, but my sponsor showed me, I basically gained most of my humility from step 5, because humility is, well, I'll read it here. A lot of people don't know what humility is. They just come up with the dictionary version. But for an alcoholic, here's what humility means. Okay? Another great dividend we may expect from confiding our defects to another human being is humility, a word often misunderstood. To those who have made progress in AA, it amounts to a clear recognition of what and who we really are, right? Steps 4 and 5. And followed by a sincere attempt to become what we could be. 6 and 7, remove this stuff that's blocking me. But it also applies to steps 1, 2, and 3. I gotta have humility in order to realize I'm an alcoholic and what that means, and then have a desire to become what I can be. Is have the obsession lifted. Step 2. So all the humility is in step 3. When you make a decision to change, instead of going back to your old self and back to drinking. And then we do the same thing in 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then we do the same thing in 10. 10 is just continuation of 4 through 9. So humility is just knowing exactly who and what I really am, followed by deep desire to do God's will, okay? So, in the book somewhere it says, when you're honest, I don't know where it's at, but in step 5 it says, when you're honest with another human being, it confirms you're honest with yourself and God. And I went into step 5 lacking humility because I was lying to myself. And my sponsor he moved things around a little bit, okay? And I was mad at my ex-wife because she tried to deport me, for instance, right? And so my sponsor says she did everything she had to do to keep an alcoholic away from your son. I could have killed that kid. Resentment was gone instantly. I was resentful at my dad because the way he treated me as a kid. And we figured out in step 5 that I really wasn't calling him because I owed him a bunch of money on a boat sale. And the resentment was gone like that. Step 5 was a lot of humility. I could go on and on and on, but I was really lying to myself in step 4. Without step 5, if I had went from 4 to 6, I don't know if I'd be sober today. Because I had a lot of self-pity and I had a lot of blame. And then by the time my sponsor me looked at step 4, and the time I got honest with another man, and then I got honest with me and God, by the time we looked at step 4, which is basically step 5, okay, just go over it with your sponsor, I was gaining in humility every minute. Because I was realizing where I was at fault and where they weren't. And I was realizing where I was stepping on their toes and they were retaliating. See, I wasn't a victim. If anybody was a victim, they were the victim. And the people on my step 4 list, the top of the step 4 list, they went to the top of my step 8 list. I needed to make an amends to my dad and my ex-wife and so on, and my bosses. And so you find out a lot. You really change. You learn things about yourself when you go through these steps. And one thing you learn is humility. And you need it just to get sober. If you don't know what an alcoholic is, and if you don't know the main problem centers in our mind, and the main crux of the problem is that mental state that precedes a relapse into drinking, which is the obsession. If you don't know that, you might go around trying to just don't drink no matter what. But the book says, and the doctors say, in the doctor's opinion, that just don't drink no matter what will avail you nothing. In the doctor's opinion on XXX, it says the doctors, the only thing they could advise at the time was total abstinence. But what they figured out between all the doctors is that the chronic alcoholic was doomed because he couldn't just not drink. And then Carl Jung is the one that came up with the spiritual experience. So step 1 came from Dr. Silkworth. Step 2 came from Carl Jung. And then Bill's seen all this, and he took six tenets of the Oxford group and turned it into 12 steps. So, step 5, very important. I would call it gaining in humility, really. So anyway, I love you all. Thank you for everything, and I'll talk to you later.